Former President Donald Trump made a brazen attempt on Friday to convince black voters on the eve of the South Carolina primary that his criminal indictments are comparable to systemic racism experienced by minorities in the U.S. criminal justice system. A lot of people said that's why the black people like me, because they had been hurt so badly and discriminated against. And they actually viewed me as I'm being discriminated against, he said Friday evening in front of a crowd of 500 gathered in Columbus for the Black Conservative Federation's annual gala. Maybe there's something to it. Where Wall Street, Washington, and Silicon Valley meet, I end the weeks after the former president's Fulton County mugshot in August was made public. Several conservative commentators embraced the theory that the photo would become an iconic symbol in the urban black community, as right-wing radio host Dinesh D'Souza put it. It's an enduring angle. Last week, after Trump released a pair of $399 sneakers following his disastrous fraud ruling, a Fox News host claimed that the shoes would connect with black America because they love sneakers. Trump, too, latched onto the story, falsely claiming in September that his support among black Americans had quadrupled or quintupled after the release of his mugshot. When I did the mugshot in Atlanta, that mugshot is number one, the GOP frontrunner said Friday, claiming he saw black voters donning the photo on T-shirts. You know who embraced it more than anyone else? The black population. Throughout this primary season, Trump has sought to use his indictments as a rallying cry for conservative voters, frequently telling audiences that he's being indicted for you. On Friday, he repurposed that line into an explicit racial appeal. I'm being indicted for you, the black population, Trump said. Of course, the former president neglected to mention throughout his speech that his indictment in Georgia stems from his attempt to overturn the 2020 election in that state, which boasts a heavily black population. Black voters still indicate overwhelming support for President Joe Biden, but recent polling has indeed revealed a slight shift of some of the black electorate, predominantly men, to the right. A December APNORC poll found that only half of black adults approved of the president, down 36 points from July 2021. The sobering news for the Biden campaign has led the president to step up his appeals to black voters. In January, Biden campaigned heavily in South Carolina, hoping to re-energize a constituency that was central to his victory in 2020. The Biden campaign responded to Trump's Friday speech by calling the former president the proud poster boy for modern racism. This is the same man who falsely accused the Central Park Five, questioned George Floyd's humanity, compared his impeachment trial to being lynched, and ensured the unemployment gap for black workers spiked during his presidency, said Biden campaign spokeswoman Jasmine Harris, who added that Trump publicly dined with white nationalists, a reference to Trump's dinner with Nick Fuentes and the rapper Ye, a week after declaring his 2024 candidacy. Nikki Haley versus Donald Trump duke it out. Kiowa Island, South Carolina, palm trees and politics were leading the day on Saturday in the Palmetto State as Republicans held their primary. Former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley is fighting for an upset against GOP frontrunner Donald Trump. The 2024 contest in Haley's home state is crucial as she tries to make up ground minus and even build momentum minus against the former president in the lead-up to Super Tuesday on March 5th. Accompanied by her family, including her mother who was in a wheelchair, Haley cast her vote at her local polling place on Kiowa Island. Outside, Haley told reporters she was laser-focused on turning out the vote in South Carolina and Michigan, which holds its primary on February 27th, and making it through a week-long push leading into Super Tuesday. Meanwhile, Trump isn't even in the state he's projected to win by double digits. Trump has already turned his attention to the general election and will spend most of Saturday in the nation's capital. He will fly to Columbia, South Carolina for a primary watch party in the evening. Keep up with the USA Today Network's live updates from the South Carolina GOP primary and check back here for results. What did Trump say about Nikki Haley's husband? The primary comes 2 weeks after Trump's extraordinary attack on Haley's husband Michael. During a rally in Conway, South Carolina, Trump mocked Michael Haley's absence from the campaign trail minus never mind that he is a service member who was deployed overseas. Will voters choose Nikki Haley or Donald Trump? Jorge Lara, 43, of Greer, South Carolina, was one of the first people in line to vote at 7:30 a.m. at Riverside High School and chose Haley as his candidate. Laura, who originally grew up in Cuba, said it was his first time voting in any primary and will vote against Trump. He believes our democracy may be in danger.